kind of random.
What up, y'all? I am your host, Vegas, and welcome to another Hip Hop Now podcast review. And today, we are reviewing J. Cole's The Off Season, coming in at about 40 minutes in length with 12 tracks. Long awaited, long anticipated, bars and all that. Damn, I'm on a roll already. But listen. Let's just set this up real quick. If you've never heard one of my reviews, I basically listened to the album a good 3 times, sometimes 4 times. But 3 is usually enough, right? The first listen is all about impressions. The second listen, now I'm really listening to what you have to say and the beats and the sequencing and all that good stuff. The features, everything. Third listen, I'm just confirming my thoughts and seeing if they will change on a third listen. And now I've completed 3 listens, so let's go in. Again, this album has 12 tracks on it. It's about 40 minutes in length. People have been waiting and anticipating J. Cole's next album since his last album, KOD, which I'm starting to feel like I'm the only one that liked. But I know that's not true. And one of the reasons why I liked it was because he stepped away from just making a bunch of songs and he made an album that was a concept. And to me, a concept he drove home, because that For Your Eyes Only, no one likes that one, right? Even though I kind of like Folding Clothes, but people give him flack for that. I like that joint. Who cares? But KOD came out in 2018, I believe. So it's about time we get a new J. Cole album. And I'm going to tell you right off the bat, I'm not even going to hold those people like, man, what do you feel? I think it's dope. I think this album is dope. For me, it's not comparing it to any other album. I feel like Forest Hill, 2014 Forest Hills Drive is like his peak album, right? It's like the one. It's his quote unquote Illmatic in his catalog. But this album is dope, especially for an album to come a little later in his career. J. Cole sounds hungry lyrically. He sounds clear, like as far as his thoughts and what he wants to say and how he wants to convey it. Not every song is about being, a killer with the bars. Some songs are extremely thought-provoking, you know what I'm saying, about life, about his past, about fights he had with Diddy. When did this happen? Didn't Diddy slap Drake? Like, Diddy, why are you fighting all these young cats? Whatever. But it's dope to hear J. Cole rhyme like this. You know why? Because he's not afraid to be vulnerable. And this is nothing new for J. Cole fans, right? In his music, he's done that on numerous occasions. I mean, he made a damn song called Folding Clothes, right? If that's not a man or an artist or a writer who's paying attention to the small things in life and giving them life on a record, that's kind of what you want from your artists. You don't want them to be replaceable, right? A lot of artists today are replaceable. They kind of make songs and, they say all the same things all the time. Like, I love the baby, but this dude will pull up 20 times in one verse. I pull up on the side and I pull up over here and I pull up and then I pull up over there. Like, yo, dog. But that's because he don't have nothing else to say. It's not that he can't eventually, but a lot of rappers tend to be in autopilot, right? They tend to say the same things that people like because people don't care if they hear them a million times. So some of them are right. But this album is dope because it incorporates, it's a lot of features, and you just gotta hear most of them, right? Because the album opens with 95 South, which has Cameron on it, and I think also Lil Jon's on it. He has a lot of features that sneak up on you on this album, like not being able to see the names right off the bat, because I didn't read anything. I hit play. And I just like how each song incorporated an element or a familiar voice, familiar production from hip hop's past. And it's not pulling from one place, right? He's not going heavy like I'm pulling everything from the South or everything from the West Coast or everything from New York. It's coming from like every direction. And pause. And and I think somebody will have to confirm this, but this, again, I didn't read anything because I just wanted to be a music fan and listen. I think Wyclef is on one of these records. And if that's true, it just kind of brings to, even if it's not true, it still kind of summarizes how I feel about this album. This feels like a well thought out project. Some of the standout records, which contain some of these looks to people like Pharoah Monch on My Life, right? 95 South, right? Like this 100 Mil is, that record is dope. Pride is in the Devil is dope. There's so many dope records on here. Applying Pressure is sick. It's really difficult to say what I dislike on this album, but I did have a moment, and this was during my impressions side of reviewing it, right? It opens with 95 South, right? Which you know, gives you the Jay-Z You Don't Know vibes, right? Because it's within the track. I know you heard it. Cameron's talking that Cameron talk, and J. Cole is killing it crazy with the flow and the bars, and you like, yo, this joint sound like it's gonna be epic. But somebody like me, who has never been a fan of J. Cole singing, and is not really, even though he's dope at it, is not really a big fan of him adopting Migos flows and other, you know, the flavor of the month that you hear all the time on the radio. I always feel like J. Cole is too good for that. And lo and behold, after we get past that first 95 South track, here comes the Migos flows and all these other, you know, flows that aren't typical to what we know as J. Cole's flow. But I gotta tell you, it wasn't that. Because typically what it is, right? Rappers that can spit will be like, yeah, let me give the true hip-hop heads, the hardcore hip-hop heads, this hardcore hip-hop track, what they love, what they came for, what they like to hear from me on this one song. And then I'm going to allow you to go 6 records deep hearing me flow the complete opposite of what I gave you. And usually for hip-hop heads, it's not worth listening to the rest of the album. After that, they're out. Me, I'm a little bit more diverse in my taste. So I sat through them, and I like the joints where even with the Migos flow, but I even like J. Cole singing on some of these records. And when I tell you I despised him singing, I don't care if it was a radio hit or not, I really did not like him singing and crooning on every song, like chill. But I think he found the pocket for him in doing that. And it's just a well put together album, man. I'm not even gonna dive deep into the lyrics, but there's one bar that I'm gonna give you a piece of it, but when you listen to the album, you can listen for the full execution of the bar because I think it's so dope. The dude said, basically he said, exclamation points, upside down eyes. That's your clue. That's your clue. When you listen to the album and you hear the bar, you're gonna be like, yo, this album is dope. This album will literally bump something out of my top 5 of the year right now because I was that impressed by the listening experience. Now, obviously, I'm gonna keep continuing to listen. And, you know, the more I enjoy it, the more I'm probably going to listen to it. And the more I could say whether it's one of the best of the year. But I think it's easy to say it's one of the best of the year. Is it J. Cole's best album? No. But it's up there. It might be number 2. It might be, to me, it's you can pick out of these 3. to me. But I think 2014 Forest Hills Drive is number one as far as his best album in his catalog. And then there's a fight for two between Born Sinner and The Off Season. Have you heard J. Cole's brand new album, The Off Season? What were your thoughts about the album? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Subscribe to the podcast. All the links are in the description of this episode. And remember, I am not a critic. I'm a fan. Peace.
Drop it on the random.